Hey everyone, welcome back to More Than Just Task Management, our weekly podcast where we help you move beyond the busyness trap and achieve meaningful success. Today we are actually live for the first time on YouTube as well, and I'm your host, Anna Angelova, and one of the founders of Plandor. And today with me, I also have Joris.
Thank you, Anna. It's good to be back with everyone live now, this time live on YouTube. I'm Joris Winasvand, and yeah, I'm glad to be here with you guys. And let's move forward and talk more about productivity and goal setting.
Interesting you mentioned goal setting because this is actually our topic for today. So, what we want to discuss is the steps of goal setting with purpose. And we will actually talk about 7 steps today, starting with something that you might be surprised with. So, the first step we have is actually tapping into gratitude. Joris, do you
So,
want to
yeah, so
take the mic?
basically, it's about being grateful for what you have, being grateful for where you are, being grateful for people around you, being grateful for the food you eat, for the air um, air you breathe, for the minus 16 degrees cold that we have right now in Toronto, compared to Europe, which is almost 0 degrees. It's like summer, but even that, to be grateful for that. It's about being uh, part of being grateful. It also helps you be there, be aware of what you have, makes you, like, not forces you, but makes you be aware of what you have and sets the tone. And but important thing is not also for being grateful today or every morning or every hour. It's also to keep it up. Like gratefulness is not it's a state of mind. It's not something that you do for 5 minutes every day and you forget about it. Constantly, in everything that you see, in everything that you breathe, in everything that you hear, it's like I said, it's a state of mind.
Absolutely. It's a state of mind. And again, you might be wondering, why are we starting with this? Are we talking about steps to set goals, like for goal setting? And Joris, you already touched on this, that gratitude, being grateful for what you already have. It doesn't have to be specific for your business. It doesn't have to be for the work you do. It can be, like you said, the fact that you are still breathing, the view that you have, the smiles on your kids' faces, right? It can be anything. It actually sets the tone in a way where we start the goal setting journey from a place of abundance instead of place of lack, instead of approaching it from fear and thinking, oh, how am I even going to achieve the goals I have and what I want to do? How am I even going to double the sales and increase our revenue and decrease the costs and all these kind of things? You actually start the process from, as I said, a place of plenty, a place of abundance, a place of possibilities. And this is a really powerful place to start for. In general, like with the energy levels, like with the framework from IPAC and Bruce Schneider, like gratitude is level 4, which is kind of the medium one. Like it's very, like it's still an anabolic or creative energy, and it really helps to set the tone and prepare us for the next step, which is defining, or if you need to just remind yourself about this, your purpose and values. And this thing applies like whether you are doing the goal setting exercise, whether it's something that you do for the business or if it's something you do in your personal life. It really helps to think about the big picture, even when it comes to personally to your life, to really think about what is your purpose, like why am I here, right? Like what do I want to, at the end of my life, what legacy do I want to leave? And then, of course, with the business, usually, I know that when we talk about businesses, this is where we have mission, vision, purpose, values, like we have all these kind of things. But personally, we need to, and we also have this, like our values, personal values, they play such an integral part in our decisions and what we do. So as we're talking about all these steps, actually, they apply both to setting personal goals and professional goals, even the purpose and values. And I would actually highly recommend, especially for personal, really think about what do you really value personally, because ultimately, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur or solopreneur, what you're doing, you're not doing it, you're doing it for yourself as well. Like there is always a personal reason to do this. So really think about your purpose and values and how this really helps, like starting with that bird's eye view, right? It really helps you get the inspiration. Because now you're actually thinking, this is why I'm here. This is your why, right? This is your why. And as I mentioned, at the end of your life, when you look back, you want to be at a place where you say, yeah, I did it. I had a wonderful life. So this is with step 2. Anything to add on this one, Joris?
No, I think you nailed it. I think we can move on to the what I heard this from Anna called the BHAG, big hairy audacious goal, and she doesn't talk about me when she talks about hairy, but that's a different story. So this part is where we need to dream big. And when we talk about dream big, is if you're dreaming about winning the lottery, don't dream to win a 500,000 or $5 million. Dream about being a 50 million or $100 million lottery. Be like be audacious, be open, like open the universe to yourself, right? If you're you have gratitude that you're putting out there, and you open yourself to the big things in universe, they will come to you. The idea about this is to have only one goal, but really big goal. And what that goal you should set in your, goal setting and goal tracking is a minimum of 3 years. Usually, 3 years is doable with the changes that is happening in the economy, global economy, socio-economical, the global socio-economical economics that we live through, and technology exacerbates and all of this, and AI is going to make it even worse. Anything beyond 3 years, it's not, it's too far, and it may not be attainable because the environment changes so much. And then the third thing to remember is to keep it alive. Every time, every morning you wake up, let it be in the back of your head. Every night that you go to bed, let it be in the back of your head, because that dictates every action that you take. It will be towards this goal.
Very well said. And absolutely, like, I'm still surprised by the corporations. And this is where actually small businesses, like a small business, we as small business and our viewers and listeners as small business owners, entrepreneurs, and solopreneurs, this is where we actually have the advantage. Because the big corporations, a lot of them are still setting 5-year goals. Like really, with these rapid changes. So when you set your BHAG, 3 years, dream big, 3 years. Which actually brings us to step number 4, if I'm counting them correctly.
Yep, step number 4.
Which is brainstorming the, I don't want to call them short-term goals, but the goals for this year. Let's call them the goals for this year. And as a business owner and entrepreneur, if you have a team, this is where you can start engaging your team. So the vision, the mission, purpose, values, and the BHAG, this is where you set it, right? Like the leader of the business. But once you start going to the next steps, like to the details, this is where you can start engaging your team as well. If you have a team, now you can choose to not do this with your team, but if you have a team and you want to start it, highly recommend it, because if you engage them at this stage and keep on engaging them for the next steps as well, this creates a lot of buy-in and ownership within your team with the goals that you're working towards. And here, you've probably heard this idea, but basically what we want to do is no filters, just brainstorm. What goals do you have? And they can be something you want to achieve in the next 3 months, something you want to achieve in the next 12 months, right? Or anywhere in between. This time frame goals. And as I said, no filter, no judgments, no fears. What do you want to achieve? Don't worry, just write them down, whatever it is, whatever comes to your mind. We do have steps to figure things out later after this one. So here, don't be afraid to let your imagination even, let your heart speak. This is one of the things, like as in business, one of the things that we're really, a lot of us are analytical and logical, and we don't listen to our emotions and our intuition enough. Like we don't combine these three together. Like something that I know as holographic thinking, like where we combine the logic, intuition, and emotions for best outcomes. So ultimately, when you do this exercise, yes, think logically, of course, but then listen to your heart. What do you really want? And also, what is your intuition telling you? Like, list everything. It's a laundry list, right? And it's all about you. And one thing for this one, like if you're thinking about all the different goals you have, there are actually, if you Google, you find, or ask ChatGPT, like you find different versions. But when it comes to your personal life, in general, there are 8 to 9 areas. So think about career goals or business goals, because your business and career is part of your life, right? Then, of course, finances is a big one. Health and wellness is a big one for a lot of us. Like we all start going to the gym in January. Someone just
For 2 weeks.
resumed. Absolutely. Well, not you. You have been great, and unbelievable how many workouts, programs you finished last year. So health and wellness, relationships, like with family, friends, intimate relationships. Then also personal growth. Like you might want to learn a language, spiritually as well. Like personally, I was really thinking about spirituality the past few years, and how it was kind of a gray area. What does it mean at all? But a lot of our viewers and listeners out there, like for you, spirituality is something that like every Sunday you go to church, and like it's something that's part of your life. So you might want to, or you probably have some goals there as well. And let's not forget recreations, hobbies, fun and enjoyment, right? Like you might want to start a new hobby. You might want to go on a vacation to a new destination you've never been to. And couple of other areas for personal, when we're talking about personal goals, a couple of other areas where you can think of and help it for your brainstorming is like environment. Like how do you want to change things in your environment? And then ultimately your legacy, your contribution and legacy. Maybe volunteering is something that you want to either start or do more of, or do a different type of volunteering. So, as I said, usually there are 8 to 10 areas when it comes to personal life, and I find it personally, I find it really useful to go through these areas and think about it, and even list these areas and say, okay, this is what I want to achieve in the next 12 months in this area, and then in the next area, in the next area. And if I remember something, I'll go back and add it, of course. I find it really useful. So you can use the ones I shared, or just find a list of life areas online and go through them. But when it comes to the business, we do support something here in with the podcast, and also with Plandor. And I touched upon it in the introductory episode we had in our first episode. So with business areas, actually, we highly, highly recommend you set goals in 4 categories. So have 4 business categories. 1, profitability. Now it can be something related to revenue, costs, a combination of these. Then the second one is employee satisfaction. The third one is customer delight. And then the fourth one is social impact. So ultimately, like, how do you want, what goals do you have for your business in terms of your employees? Like, it can be something that is related to how many sick days people take, right? Like something along these lower this one, the surveys that they have, like how satisfied they are, and with customer delight as well. Like it can be the net promoter score is something, NPS is something that a lot of businesses use, or you can figure something else. You might have a different type of goal for your customers, like how many customers keep on signing up with you, like renew their contract, things like this. And the social impact is, of course, how are you helping society in one way or another? It can be donations, it can be something that you do, like volunteer, like your team volunteers, it can be anything, right? Like we said, here, this is the place where you just let it out, whatever you want to achieve in the next 3 to 12 months. I would actually say even 6 to 12, but even three is a good starting point.
Well said, Anna. That's great. And when it comes to goal setting, another aspect to remember is to make sure that your goals are SMART. And we're talking about SMART is the acronym SMART, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So basically, you make sure that where you set your goals, you make sure that are very specific, targeted. When an airplane leaves Toronto Pearson, it has a specific goal, and that is to reach Munich. There is no other goal right there. So it checks itself every 1 minute towards getting to Munich. That's a very specific goal, and your goal should follow that pattern. Measurable, meaning that you can, if you're setting a 3-year goal, you on a daily, weekly, quarterly, annual basis, you can measure how you're going towards. Are you going towards achieving that? So it can't be just a haphazard goal. Achievable, be realistic. As much as we talk about open the universe to yourself, right now, imagine me setting a goal to become an astronaut. That will never happen. Or the president of the United States. So these are things that we need to be careful when we're setting our goal. They're achievable. So we have to be realistic as much as we are opening ourselves to the universe. Relevant, meaning they have to align to your BHAG, right? And also align to your quarterly annual goals. So, and then time bound, meaning you have to be able to reach it within a certain time. And what I think this is your quote. You should talk about the quote here from Warren Buffett, where you set up all your goals and then you throw the rest of them away.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's a quote, but so you probably have heard this as well, right? Focus, 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 focus. So ultimately, after the brainstorming and having all the laundry list, and like now you have your SMART goals, right? Like you have identified like very specific things you want to achieve. You know when you want to achieve them. You know how you measure it. All these things. And Joris, I love what you were saying. How like the achievable part and the relevant part. That setting a goal to become an astronaut or something like this, like yeah, we are open to the universe, come from a place of abundance, but at the same time, it needs to be achievable. It needs to be believable. One of the things is that if you don't believe that you can achieve that goal, you will sabotage yourself and not achieve it. So after you do all these steps, then the next thing is like, as much as you want to have it all and have it now, unless you have some kind of a magic wand or something,
or win the lottery.
Even with winning the lottery, right? Like you can't. Like you still need the time to get into shape, for example, right? And achieve a lot of the things that you have on your dream list or goal list, and ultimately. You've heard this probably before, limit the goals you're focusing on. And you might have actually noticed this, that when you have too many things. This is one of the, I think this is more of a quote that if you have more than one priority, you have none. And actually, the word priority, I was reading last year at some point, the word priority is used to be priority, not
Plural.
the plural, yeah. So, and then we change it into priorities. But ultimately, what our recommendation is, limit your goals for the year to up to three personal, and then also for the business, up to three goals, like big goals that you want to focus on. Because even with three, you will notice, and I've personally noticed this as well, and with the business as well, that even up to three, usually I do a lot for two of them, and the third one, I'm like, oh, what can I do about this one? I should do something about this one. And Joris, what you were saying about Warren Buffett is I've heard that he writes his priorities, right? He writes things down and then he basically has the first three and then the rest, and he cuts the paper and throws everything out and just keeps the paper with the first three. That's it. And the idea is that the next time he goes through the exercise, he will have a new list with new things that are important. And if something was on the list before and it's on the list again, but it's important in the top three, it stays. If not, it's not important, right? And why it matters is that, like in this case, what we're doing is we are choosing and committing, right? Like we're choosing, okay, this is what I want to focus on and committing. And it really provides a lot of clarity. Once you have the goals, like make them smart and limit them to up to three. Like you really have that commitment and clarity now that can allow you to move forward in the goal setting process, which brings us to step 5 or
So
6. I think it's
six.
6 actually. Yeah, it's step 6.
So
And
yeah, go
you
ahead.
want, yeah, you
No, no,
want to
no, go
continue?
ahead. No, no, no. So this goes. I just wanted to say that this goes back to the M part of the SMART goal, where you set milestones, you set KPIs, and you measure them to make sure you're on the right track. So going back to the Boeing 737 that goes from Toronto to Munich, the navigation system corrects it, checks the vector every 1 minute, and that's an 8.5, 9 hour flight. And it does that because correcting a 10-minute diversion is much more expensive than 1 minute. So every minute on the minute, again, you don't have to do it on yours, but the idea is to learn from what they do on flights. Constantly check where you are towards your daily task, your milestones, weekly, monthly, quarterly milestones, and how they track back to the big goal that you have.
Oh yeah, the breaking down the goals into milestone and choosing KPIs and checking, like it's a key part. Like it's a key part of the process. Because like you said, this way, like here is the thing, like what we were talking so far, it was okay, we know the destination, right? We know the destination, we know the goals, this is where we're going. What are the missing pieces of the puzzle? So we don't have a roadmap, and we also don't have any progress tracker. And this is where the milestones and the KPIs come in, like breaking down the goal. Okay, if this is my destination, how do I get there, right? Breaking it down. And one part is the milestones you just mentioned, which is basically break it down like a 12-month goal, like an annual goal. You break it down to quarterly, monthly, and then even weekly, right? Each month you break it into even weekly chunks and milestones. So this is the roadmap. And then the progress tracker is KPIs, right? What are the indicators that will show you that you're moving in the right direction? So as part of the goal setting process, this is what you want to do as well. Like you want to think about, okay, how will I know I'm moving in the right direction? And things that I need to monitor daily, weekly, monthly, and sometimes quarterly, right? But sometimes some of the things you might want to check every single day. Uh, Most you probably don't need to, and every single day is a little bit too much, but be open that some things you might want to check daily, and then other things you would want to see weekly and then monthly, just to see that you're moving in the right direction. And speaking of moving in the right direction, that the final component or the final step is identifying the 3 to 6 key behaviors that are necessary for each of the goals, for you to achieve the goals. And here is the thing, and this is actually a quote that I think it's from Jim Rohn, and I've heard it through Darren Hardy, that we don't achieve our goals, we grow into them. And what it means is that ultimately for us to achieve any goal, whether it's personal or business, there are just a few habits, a few things that we need to do consistently to achieve the goal. And they can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Like just a few things. And it also aligns with the Pareto principle, right? That 20% of our actions actually produce 80% of the results. So thinking about your goals, actually, this is the time to sit down and think, what are the 20% of the actions that produce the 80% of the result? If I want to double my revenue, what are the things I really need to focus on? So again, you can hear the word focus and clarity a lot, and this is one of the things like with focus, clarity, consistency. Like these are with this goal setting process, purposeful goal setting process. This is what you gain. Like you really gain focus and clarity.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, about purpose, right? When you're having to have a purpose, then they apply that 20% that gives you the 80% result. So yeah, I was actually trying. We're done. So we'd like to conclude things. So yeah. Anna, you want to take the conclusion part? Looks like I'm having a technical problem with my
Now, when
headset.
you are about to give me the mic, actually the technical problem disappeared, which is very weird.
Okay, I just wanted to say one thing that I was chatting with someone in Europe last year, and he was explaining to me what he's doing, and then at the end he said, "We have a yeah." He said, "I'm a dreamer," and I explained to him that a dream with actions is not a dream; it's a goal, and the opposite applies. A goal without a plan is just a dream. Sitting on the couch and dreaming will not get you there. But having a goal and applying the steps and what we just talked about will get you there.
Exactly, absolutely. This is so true that if you don't have a plan and then if you don't execute on this, it's just a dream. It's just a wish. And yes, having like visualizing and imagining things and like really tapping into the universal source of the energy, it is part of the creation process, and we are actually all for it. However, this is not like you said, just dream about it, sit on the couch, and miraculously thing come fall into your lap. No, you need to get out there. You need to do the work. And even with planning, like even with the goals, what we were talking about here, like the 7 steps, right? Stepping into gratitude, clarifying your why, setting your big, hairy, audacious goal, brainstorming the goals you have, choosing 3 smart goals to focus on, mapping and tracking your progress, and identifying the key habits that really matter. Like even these 7 steps, like even after you go through this, like there is this other saying that all plans are useless, but planning is indispensable as well. So like this is another thing that yes, life happens, but ultimately, if you want to set goals and achieve them after that, you want a process that's purposeful, like the one we just shared, and then you also want to start doing the work after that. And if you follow these 7 steps, actually, you will achieve it. Like you will actually have all the ingredients necessary to achieve your goals, right? You have all the ingredients, you have the goals, you have the KPIs and the things that you will monitor and be able to say, oh, I need to course correct. It looks like that what I'm doing is not actually working. Let me course correct. So this is how you turn your dreams into a reality. Dreaming big, planning smart, and then work, adjust, like plan, do, review, and adjust. And speaking of plan, do, review, to elevate your productivity, I highly recommend you join the wait list for Plandor, our goal setting and productivity platform. And this way you can be one of the first business owners, first entrepreneurs, and visionaries who turn their vision into reality with the power of purpose-driven progress, which we're, as I said, this is one of the key things for us. So go to the link in the description and join the waitlist. We are launching end of February, I believe.
End of February, yes.
Yes. So if you haven't done this yet, join the waitlist, and we'll be really happy to see you there. And until then, have a wonderful week ahead, and we will see you next week for our third episode.
See you next week.
Bye,
Stay
everyone.
warm. Bye.
Oh yeah, especially here in the GTA.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.